started. All right, and we will go ahead and call this meeting to order. And we will go ahead and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Derek, would you like to begin that?
Right hand over, and ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. And may we have a roll call, please?
Chair Aaron Todd,
Present.
Vice Chair Ashley Conley,
Present.
Commissioner Cameron Cariceles will be excused. And then Commissioner Derek Farage,
Present.
and then Commissioner Alex Flores.
Present.
All right, thank you. And we'll move on to item 4 and 4A, the consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the June meeting?
I'll go ahead and make that motion to approve the meeting
Oh.
minutes.
Perfect, thank you. We have a first. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed and 1 abstained, so 301. Thank you for that. We will move on to number 5, to the oral communications for any citizen presentation or comments not related to the agenda items. And I do not see any cards. And we will move on to number 6, the Planning Commission workshop, Fillmore character, and we'll go ahead and turn it over to staff.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. We had a workshop last month on this exact item. I wanted to kind of wrap it up a little bit. I'm still not done. And I'd like to finish it after tonight with your directions, but I don't think I need to come back to you. I looked at the pictures that you've sent the last month and a half, and some of the pictures that I took, and they're falling into certain categories. I started to create some categories. I'll go over those tonight with you. So what are we doing? We're identifying Fillmore character, and what we want to do is infuse that Fillmore character into our development projects. We want to make sure that it's reflected in our architecture, landscaping, signage, building placement, color, materials, setback, lot coverage, and just overall design. We have unique qualities, as we discovered last month, and we want to make sure we have those in our projects. What we're trying to do is avoid the appearance of mass-produced buildings that are sterilized by, like, an accountant, right? No offense, right? But you guys are just number crunchers, or an engineer, as if we're building widgets on an assembly line, right? Everything's the same. Right? We're trying to avoid that. So you've stated, one, the highest priority of everything is that we're a small town. And with that is agriculture. We're surrounded by agriculture. And so this picture identifies more than just agriculture, but our culture as a community. We have 4-H and other agricultural things that we're teaching children. And it's inserted in the city. So here we have a child walking a lamb or sheep. We also have a lot of exposed metal. I didn't know what else to call it, but this Pole Creek Bridge has a lot of metal work and reflective of the Sespe Creek Railroad Bridge. And then this is the old Highway 23 bridge that we use now at Trestle Way, and we also use it at Mountain View. And that criteria is also somehow reflected in our Fillmore bus shelter. If you can see all the metal work there. And if you look at Sonic today, Sonic has a lot of metal work in their canopy. And we even have it in our bike racks. We have both agriculture and metal here. This is at the Baldwin Town Plaza Shopping Center, and we have a couple of them downtown. And in all the exposed metal, we have it in our cell towers. This is a cell tower that we camouflaged. You can't tell it's a cell tower. And this is a cell tower also made to look like a fake water tank with a lot of exposed metalwork. Fillmore also has an abundance of bike paths. We have 10 miles of bike paths right now. We're about to add 2 or 3 more miles in the next year. And we have one of the highest mileage of bike paths in Ventura County. This is my favorite photograph of all the photographs. And this is the Old Telegraph Road bike path. And this is the newest bike path on the along Santa Clara River at the Bridges subdivision. This is known as the Santa Paula Branch Line Trail. And then you mentioned that we shouldn't forget that there's an appreciation for cars. You know, some people feel guilty about that, but not Fillmore. We appreciate it, and we have a car show. You guys sent me a lot of pictures on the car show, which I appreciate, but I didn't want to load this thing up with car pictures. But we appreciate it so much, we have the car show on the 4th of July. And somehow our architecture should kind of reflect the car culture, right? We also have an abundance of street trees. That's traditional design concept. This is along River Street. We have on each side of the sidewalk London Plain sycamore trees. But this is just one street like this. There are many streets similar to this street. We also have very good architecture that we should be really happy with. The next set of pictures are of downtown. So this is the Parkview Apartments across the street from City Hall. And this is the school district building. Another school district building, and the City Hall. The Santa Clara Valley Bank building, it's actually called the old Bank of Levy, I believe. No, Bank of Italy was the original bank before it became, then it was Bank of America. Central Station, Ballard's Furniture Store, which this particular building, it has 6 apartments on the 2nd floor. And again, the Parkview Apartments while it was under construction. And then we have a lot of churches. You know, we have 21 churches in a city of 17,000 people. But with that, they have very good architecture. So this is the one on Central Avenue, and this is no longer a church. It was converted to a wedding venue. And what I called, or I'm told, this is called the Chocolate Church, the Episcopal Church. I didn't take pictures of all 21. And then we have a real good stock of a variety of architecture, because I think because we were able to build through time, we didn't build all at a single time, right? We weren't like a 5,000 unit subdivision built all at once. So we have a variety of architectural styles. And this is a new a building. So I wanted to go back. We have more craftsman style here to more of a Mediterranean bungalow. And this is the old Ebell building, which is now a house. Mediterranean. I forgot the name of this architectural style, but this has now been converted to something different. This is an old monastery, but it's a residence now. Okay, so the rest are, I have not yet been able to put into a format. And I want to still follow some of your categories and finish up with I want to teach you a French Cajun word at the end, and define the meaning, because we do a lot of it. So the first thing you guys said was you want to make sure that our future buildings represent agriculture, small town atmosphere. Fillmore has slow, controlled growth. Fillmore pride begins at the high school. The alumni is very strong here. We should have pictures here that show our scenic views. We're very strong in youthful activities and sports. We do use a lot of wrought iron and metal work. Small businesses are favored. I think it was because of the customer service, the small town customer service we get. And it was mentioned that we should keep out big box retail. Fillmore is a community where everybody knows each other. We have a lot of traditions: the homecoming parade, the Santa Paula Fillmore game, the 4th of July, graduation car honking, and we can put some of the others there. Railroad, spelled probably wrong, and murder mystery train, the tree train, pumpkin train, New Year's Eve train, Polar Express. We used to have those, and the comment is maybe we should somehow convince the operator now to have those again. Everybody feels welcomed. We're neighborly. It feels like home when we come home. The city's beautiful. Not every day tract homes. Our homes are unique. We are car aficionados. There are plenty of artisans that live in town, and that artisans know how to build things. They explore hobbies. We seem to have time to explore hobbies. We have tree-lined streets. Fillmore is still a secret, which means we still haven't been discovered. Still holding back the discovery. I'm afraid to be discovered. Part of that artisans is an example of Roan Mills and Red Engine, shown in our businesses. We have a cultural history, authentic architecture, right? We're not fake like Disneyland. No offense to Disneyland, but that's just a facade. We're the real thing. Fillmore's not stressful. You guys described Fillmore. You come home from work in the weekends, you wind down, and it is not a stressful place. Our houses have a variety of colors. We're not all tan. There seems to be appreciation for neon signs. We have some neon signs along the highway, and the idea is to pursue more neon signs. We don't have garage doors that dominate the front house. We still have garage doors in the front, but it's not the only thing you see in the house. You'll see some subdivisions in other cities where all you see is just the garage door. People seem to hang out at their garages, right at the threshold, right, as if it were a porch. That seems to be a unique trait of Fillmore. Our car dealership has a great restaurant. That's pretty unique. What dealership has restaurants in it? And classic cars, there's niches all over the place. In little places, people building a car, their project, so to speak. And then part of the artisan is that people display their artisan or toys or hobbies in their front yard. You'll start seeing that. So that's the beginning of information that I'm trying to collect. I'm going to take this information and I'm going to give it to a planner or an architect sometime in the future and create objective standards so we can measure future projects and say that they have to have these types of qualities. Some of the qualities are not physical, but they're our own traditions. Somehow that should still be reflected in the architecture. Like Fillmore pride, how do you put that in architecture? We'll find out. And then this information, I do want to go to the city council and talk to the city council and get their input too. I have your input. I don't have all your pictures in here yet. I am still working on this. I'm not going to put all of them in there. I'm going to put representative pictures in there. And that's it. I'll take any questions that you may have. If you want to send me in a different direction, I'll go in a different direction.
All right, thank you for that. Are there any questions for staff?
I have one quick, one thing that wasn't mentioned, that I think is a real big, characteristic of Fillmore. And we're seeing it in the bridges. We see it down here off of Main Street, and some of the houses over here are the porches, really emphasizing those, the wraparound porches or those front porches, which are those gathering points for people. We walk down the street during school to take my son to school, and people are sitting out there having their coffee, watching all the kids go to school, and
So they are being used.
They are
Sometimes
absolutely.
I question whether they're used. When I go out driving around, I'm in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day, it's 100 degrees out. So I'm like, who's out on their porch? No, not many people at that time.
Right. During the school, it's a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
So people are outside and watering their grass, if they don't have sprinkler systems. But over in the bridges, I have family out there, and we're going in there, and they set up out in the afternoon or in the morning, and they're watching everybody leave from work, coming home from work, which is nice. And
Yeah.
walking down here with some of the townhomes and condos over here,
Yeah.
they're smaller, but it still gives that feel,
Right.
which is nice. It elevates the curb appeal for those properties and makes it homier and
Yeah,
inviting.
maybe it's a little more neighborly. As you walk by, you say hi to them, and they say hi to you.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, I'll add that. I'll add that as one of the character traits.
Perfect, thank you for that. Anything else, Alex?
No, I think we covered a lot of it the last meeting we have.
Okay, Ashley?
Is this just questions, or can we just comment?
You can comment.
Okay, so yeah, I think, you had that point about the exposed metal. I think it's like the sort of industrial exposed framing that's like railroad, like I think that's railroad related. It's kind of no frills, it's just about the structure. But I also wanted to point to, we talked about the cars, but I actually think because so many generations of families live here or have lived here, and it doesn't seem like people leave and don't come back. Like it seems like people maybe leave and then they come back and then they work at the high school, or, it seems like there's multi-generational families that live here. And because of that, I think it's why we have these old cars and old homes and antique stores. There's sort of a pride in those, in that, it's sort of nostalgia. And we talked about sort of that, people are artisans. There's people who know how to make things, but it's also people know how to maintain things, and they know how to restore things. And, the way things used to be made were of higher quality. So I think people recognize that and have pride in that. And it's sort of, I mentioned this last time, but sort of a functional craftsmanship. It's not like people are painting the Mona Lisa, but they're, making really cool hand-painted tiles, or, they have nice brickwork on the outside of their driveway, or, things of that nature. And I think we did talk about it, but the centralized historic downtown, I think why it's cool is because you can walk there. I mean, if you had to drive there, probably no one would ever go there, but it's kind of cool that the post office is there, and the theater is there, and the pharmacy, and at least me personally, I walk my dog there. Every time I walk by Derek's house, and people say hi to me with the dog, and it is a very neighborly community, which is new for me. And I really like it. It's cool that you see the same people's faces all the time. And it's very clean. I think Fillmore is very clean.
You don't see like trash all over the place. And what makes it really pleasant also to walk is that the trees are like huge. These are like really big trees. So they provide shade, even though it is super hot here, like you can still walk your dog, or walk your kids to school. And I think it's also, we mentioned this, like, or I did last time, it's like a place where people can try things out. Like, you know, like there's the people who have all their cool tchotchkes and stuff in the front lawn, but there's also people who have like incredible gardens, and, you know, they're not like the manicured, you know, super landscape architect-y design gardens, but they're things that are, you know, probably antique roses and, again, that sort of like multi-generational pride, and doing things by your own hands.
To piggyback on that, like some of the century plants by the Catholic Church, I mean, they're huge.
Yeah.
And they've been growing for decades. And when they kind of going into that generational thing of, you know, they were planted when your grandmother, you know, was moved to Fillmore first, and you saw that century plant, those trees, you know, some of the big trees on the street. That's
Yeah, and I think we have that advantage that you said, that it wasn't like a development that developed all of Fillmore. You know, it kind of sequentially grew as, you know, people moved here when the railroad and the agriculture, you know, expanded larger and larger. And I think because of that, we also have this other advantage that people haven't come in and just demolished or rebuilt completely from ground up, which you see in a lot of other places. So I think it's the reason why I said it was a secret is like, I think our qualities of our town are what much more expensive towns wish they had, which was that we have like very authentic sense of place. So that's it from me.
You described some of these artisans and some of these little extra things, and I said I was gonna mention a French or Cajun word. It's common in New Orleans. It's called lagniappe. Have you heard of lagniappe? Lagniappe means a little bit of extra, so it's really for bakers where the baker dozen, they give you the 13th or the 14th donut, right? So it's same with architecture, they give you a little extra. So not everything, just a small little extra, and what you're describing is that little extra, that little detail.
Yeah, it's like a personal touch.
Yeah.
It's not a mass-produced thing.
Actually, I have one comment regarding the iron steel. What would be great to see would be off the 126, any new business being built, that they'll have steel with rock or brick. A lot of these new, you know, for example, new ballparks that they're building across, you know, for baseball. I've been to the one in San Diego and also in Denver, and they use a lot of steel with rock or brick.
Right.
Even though sometimes the brick itself might not be real, it's just a facade in a sense, but it looks cool. So not to do it in homes, but at least any new business being built on the 126, it will bring out that driving through, like, wow, this looks pretty cool. You know, this looks like, let's stop here. So I think that would be one area that you might implement, especially off the 126, that would look very
Okay.
interesting in that sense.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was gonna mention, is that when you're coming in either east or west, the first things you see, we've talked about it before, the RV park, we've talked about the west side of town, but I think Fillmore getting back to its roots of agriculture, the steam train back in the day, if coming into town, it's old-fashioned. You mentioned, what, Denver. We were in Denver last year, and for it being the state capital, it's like one of the smallest towns I've ever seen.
Yes.
And it's beautiful to see the brickwork on the buildings, and it reminded me of like where I grew up north, such a small town. They take care of it. Well, there's no council, it's just county infused, but it's a home feeling. So I think that when projects come in, especially like with us, we should look at it and try to ensure that we can tie it into Fillmore's roots instead of the prior roots, not the roots that are sprouting up now. And then the only other comment was, I did see about no big box business. I agree with that to an extent. If Walmart, hypothetically, if Walmart was to say, let's discuss a neighborhood Walmart, I would be for that because it's gonna bring in employment, it'll bring in more people from around Santa Paula, Piru, maybe even more parks, so they don't gotta go to Simi, Ventura. But if we kept it on the smaller scale, like they do scrapbooking stores for Michael's, there's not the big Michael's, there's the scrapbooking part, just little things to help start to infuse the city with employment. I think that those types of things would have a key category of success here. And then the smaller businesses, absolutely. There's a new coffee shop by the Super A, I think it's called like Los Abuelas.
Los Abuelos, yeah.
Yeah, customer service there will blow you away. I mean, they spend 5 minutes talking to you before you order. It's just lets you know, hey, we're here. Great place too. So everything that was said, and then those were my comments with that. And thank you for taking the time on that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have you noticed that each one of you had a spouse that enticed you to move to Fillmore? Each one of you told those stories.
Absolutely. She's the leader. She's the leader. All right.
Okay, well, somehow, we'll wrap this up in some kind of package and give it to a consultant. We'll create objective standards, and we'll use those in our review of projects in the future.
I did want to mention just one thing, echoing what you guys just said about the brickwork. I think also, I mean, when this town was built, they didn't pour huge swaths of concrete and they didn't have asphalt. And so the reason why there's bricks and rocks and things of that type, of that scale, is because that's what people could make and they could have an easier time driving on or walking on. And I think that the reason we like it and we respond to it is because it is closer to our scale rather than like a vehicle. And I think you're totally right. And like the newer commercial buildings, a lot of them are just stucco and there is no texture or color differentiation. Or if there is, it's not really of a natural quality. But yeah, I just wanted to say that that's probably why we react positively to these things, because it's closer to our scale.
Yeah, absolutely. If we react like that, we live here, but just think of people passing by and the potential of,
Right.
hey, let's explore, and then that brings people in.
Yeah, the big concrete building they're building right off 126 in Santa Paula. I mean, it's just concrete.
Yeah.
The tilt up,
Is that what it is?
yeah,
Okay.
which I actually think is kind of cool, but
I mean, the design
the
is kind of
technique is
neat,
cool.
but yeah, but it's just concrete. You know, where they haven't put any facade or
Yeah.
painting and anything, so they might dress it up a little bit better. But I think it's that same feeling. Like
yeah,
you see somebody building a house and you see it, you know, from the ground up. It's like, okay, there's the wood framing. Okay, now they're putting this on. Here's some bricks, to where, you know, the other one is steel concrete up. It's kind of like the Fillmore, the high school's new gym. You know, seeing it being built frame by frame was kind of neat to watch. I mean, my son, we'd go down there and we'd watch him work. And here's how a big giant building is made. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Absolutely. All right, is that
Thank
it for Kevin? All right, perfect. All right, thank you, Kevin, for that. And we will move on to, well, let me back up. Brian, did you have anything you wanted to add? Okay. All right, we will move on to number 7, reports and communications, 7A, Planning Commission brief reports. Does anybody have anything they would like to report on? No, and no? Okay, perfect. We'll move on to 7B, Planning and Community Development Director. We will turn it back to Kevin.
Well, you see, we're moving forward on the RV project along the highway. They'll soon get a certificate of occupancy. I don't know when, but they're moving closer. Same with Sonic, they are moving closer. And we're continuing to issue certificate of occupancy for the homes and the bridges, about 3 a month. And the Creekside development, looks like that they're moving very quickly. I think maybe about 3 or 4 months, they may be asking for a certificate of occupancy for the models. And then for the People Self-Help project called Fillmore Terrace, it's 50 units of affordable units. They're expecting construction to begin the end of October, maybe in November.
Real quick question on the RV park. Are they expecting to allow for parking while they're still constructing the building there, or?
No, they're not supposed to.
Okay.
They're supposed to complete the project 100% before they allow anybody. I'm told they're getting about 5 calls a week. They're holding everybody off. They know they need to wait until final certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
Yeah, they are required commercial space, right, because it's commercially zoned, commercial highway zone, and that's a requirement of the city. They have not yet shown that, and that is a major issue. So they say they have something, we don't know what that is yet.
And that's a requirement to get occupancy.
It is. So they're required to provide retail. Right now, they're showing just storage only, but it's commercial highway zone.
What about the Fillmore sign? When does that start construction?
There's about 3 efforts going on, and there's no consensus. The downtown merchants want a sign along the highway, and they came to the city, and the city has hired a consultant, and they're developing a sign for just downtown, point them downtown. Then there is, at Trestle Way, a 2.5 acre entry into the entire city that's not just for downtown, but for the entire city. That will hopefully be approved sometime by Christmas, and then maybe by spring they'll start construction. And then the RV storage project, they have their own little
Water tower.
yeah, they have their own little entrance into the city. It's under construction right now. You'll see it. They have a windmill starting
windmill.
and some landscaping and some other things. It's going to be pretty nice. But no real consensus or on an effort for a single sign.
Okay, so the 2 signs that you mentioned, the one at the entrance to the city and then the one that points downtown, are those gonna be things that we review?
No, well, you already did as a planning commission.
Oh,
So
okay.
the planning commission reviewed maybe 6 years ago,
Okay.
maybe 7, the entry, and then that had to go to the city council. I call it the entry, this 2.5 acres at Trestle Way. And they required that green bridge, they required a water tower with the words Fillmore on it and our logo, required a park-like setting, required a fake water basin with no water in it. We learned that once we put in pumps and water, it gets very expensive to maintain. And then lastly, if funding's available, the city council's direction is to get a caboose and put a caboose there. If funding's available. So we'll see if that actually happens. So that's so that went through planning commission and that went to the city council.
And
The
then-
other sign, the effort for downtown, I don't know where that is in the process. I'm not really too involved. I don't think that goes to the planning commission. If it's funded by the city council is definitely going to be looking at it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else, anybody? No, all right, perfect. All right, we'll move on to item 8, which is adjournment. Planning Commission will adjourn until the next regular scheduled meeting, which will be August 19th, 2026 at 6:30 here in council chambers. And that is it, and thank you.